Niner Empire, what's going on? Cam Rogers coming at you for the 49ers Report Special Edition, recapping the 2018 NFL Draft that was. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Let me know what you think about all the draft picks. I'm going to go through every single one and give you guys my grade. We'll start things off with pick number 9 overall, Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. So no special dream scenario here, ladies and gentlemen. Quentin Nelson did not fall, so they go with the teammate McGlinchey here. And this was a mild surprise for me, at least to start things off. And then the whole Trent Brown trade happened, and then it started to make sense for me. McGlinchey, big-time fella. He's 6'8", and will be a stalwart, in my opinion, at right tackle. I think he beats out Gary Gilliam there, who the 49ers recently re-signed. Now, some are thinking maybe McGlinchey could be the successor to one Joe Staley, who turns 34 in August. We're getting to the end of the road with the Staley era. I do have my fair share of concerns with McGlinchey's ability to hold up in pass protection against bull rushers and power edge players on the other side. Taking a look at the trade details here with that Trent Brown trade that I mentioned. Here's the rundown. 95th overall pick for the San Francisco 49ers. New England gets Trent Brown and a 143rd overall pick from this previous draft. And looking at Trent Brown, I thought coming off the injury from 2017, he would still be very solid there at right tackle. With him gone, it makes sense to insert Mike McGlinchey now at right tackle, and perhaps he could be the man for the next decade plus on that right side. Joshua Garnett inside at right guard. Then you got Rich Berg there at center. Lincoln Tomlinson at left guard. And then, of course, Joe Staley at left tackle. All things considered, not a bad offensive line right there. So that grade, a B+ for Mike McGlinchey. Donte Pettis was the next selection here, wide receiver out of Washington, the 44th overall pick in that second round. So the 49ers traded the 59th and 74th picks to the Redskins to get Pettis. I wasn't too surprised, as the 49ers have had shown interest, as discussed here on the 49ers Report before. He was an outside receiver at Washington, but he won't fit that mold in the NFL, in my opinion. I could see him more as a depth option behind Trent Taylor at slot. I'm hearing maybe the new Mohamed Sanu for the Kyle Shanahan offense. Not so sure I'm going to buy into that just yet. But the major use of him will likely come in the return game. He set an NCAA record for punt returns for touchdowns with 9. Great vision, really knows how to navigate the open field. However, I don't feel great about trading up to get this guy. I think it was a bit of a reach. Maybe Kyle Shanahan absolutely fell in love with Pettis and really felt like John Lynch had to make the move up to get him. So I'm giving this a C+ because I'm not a big fan of trade-ups in general. We'll see what Pettis can do in terms of the wide receiver core, competing with Taylor and Aldrick Robinson and Kendrick Bourne for some reps. In all, like I said, not a fan of the trade-up, but a really valuable piece for the return game, and that also really cements things for Trent Taylor at slot and less reps there in special teams. The 49ers don't want to risk Taylor for punt returns and kick returns. All right, let's go to the linebacker position. Fred Warner, linebacker out of BYU, 70th overall, third-round selection here. We knew the 49ers were going to address the front seven at some point. Perhaps you could have made the argument that Tremaine Edmonds should have went at number 9 overall, but that is, of course, an argument that you guys can have in the comments section. Warner is a great fit for Robert Saleh's defensive scheme. He's fast, versatile, overall playmaker that I like. He's great sideline to sideline. The Niners love their speed on the defensive side. We know that. Warner was part of the 30 pre-draft visits for the 49ers, and he really performed well at the NFL Combine, too. Ran a 4.64 in the 40, jumped 38.5 inches in the vertical, and 9 feet 11 inches in the broad jump. I like this move here. Obviously, there's a need at linebacker with what's going on with Reuben Foster. Of course, the latest developments with the alleged victim recanting her statements. We'll see what happens with the district attorney's office. Malcolm Smith coming back from injury at linebacker. I don't think Brock Coyle is the long-term answer. Perhaps Fred Warner is, at least at some position at linebacker. Maybe not necessarily at inside linebacker, but still, I think he'll be utilized well as an outside guy, maybe a hybrid box safety in some sub packages. Whatever the case, he's a worthwhile player, and I'm giving him a pretty good grade, B+ there. How about the next selection here? Tarvarius Moore, defensive back out of Southern Mississippi, there in the 3rd round. Yet another surprise fast athlete here. He's very low-key, sneakily fast, and he's a bit of a hybrid player too. He can play safety, corner, nickel corner, maybe a little will as well. He's got great size at 6'2", but he is under 200 pounds. He's probably more of a depth option, in my opinion, at slot corner behind K'Wan Williams, where there is certainly a need. So Tarvarius Moore there, really solid pickup. I like him. Maybe utilize him at slot corner in the short term. Maybe try him out at different positions as you go forward. So a rundown, there's Mike McGlinchey, Donte Pettis, Warner, and Moore. All right, so B+ grade on Moore with the 49ers there in that 3rd round. Taking a look at the 4th round now, it's Kentavious Street, and I really didn't get this one. I'll be honest with you, Niner Empire. Interesting selection considering Street tore his ACL in a pre-draft workout and is expected to miss all of 2018, and anyone else having Trent Baalke flashbacks right now? Street isn't a pass rusher either. That's an area of need and more of a physical run stopper who seals the edge. So he's not a guy that's going to create sacks for you even when he does return in 2019. But you look at the numbers last year, had 120 tackles, 9 tackles for a loss, and 55 sacks at NC State. It's good production, but it's production that's a year away, and this offseason shouldn't be about 2019. Niner Empire is excited for 2018, so I'm giving this a D+. I didn't really like it. Somewhat of a questionable pick, plus he skipped on Josh Sweat, who eventually went to the Philadelphia Eagles, so all things considered there, D+ grade on Street. Let's get to DJ Reed, cornerback out of K-State. 5th round selection. Looks like another depth play there for San Francisco at slot corner, which obviously is a need. Like I mentioned, after K'Wan Williams, there is some hole for that area. Now, he's smaller, 5'9", 185 pounds, but can make plays. Had 19 pass deflections in 2016, 4 picks in 2017, a willing tackler as well. He'll take you on. Reed has some return ability as well, despite the Pettis selection. I'm thinking maybe DJ Reed can be a part of the punt returning and kick returning as well. Perhaps Niners fans would have liked an edge rusher at this spot, but I think Reed is a really solid selection, so I'm giving it an A-. We're going to stay in the secondary here. Round 6 we go. Marcel Harris, safety out of Florida. Good size, 6'1", 216 pounds, but here we go again with the injuries. All right, he's a hard hitter, but he's coming off a torn Achilles last summer, so he missed all of 2017. He's a depth play, provides some toughness to that back end there. Perhaps he'll be utilized on special teams as well. Safety isn't a major need, but it's not ultra deep either, so I could see Harris as being a viable option there on the depth chart at safety. This just seems F for me, to be honest with you guys, but it's also a 6th round pick, so you're not expecting a lot here. I'm giving it a C- grade just because of the injury history. I'm not really a fan of rolling the dice with people who have that kind of medical history there, but Marcel Harris there in the 6th round, 184th overall, safety out of Florida. Let's get to Julian Taylor, defensive tackle out of Temple here. Well coached, 7th round. I don't hate it, but here we go with another injury guy, and this includes a meniscus surgery in 2015, torn ACL in 2016. He's very raw, will need some molding, but he does have a good first step. I like his instincts. I don't see him being on the active roster, though, for 2018. He's probably more of a practice squad guy, but it's the 7th round, guys, so B- grade for me. I'm not going to be too harsh here. And then we've got Richie James, wide receiver out of Middle Tennessee State here in this 7th round. Again, you can get a little creative when you're at this point in the draft. James has potential as another special teamer. He's shifty, elusive. Maybe he doesn't have the tools to be an outside receiver or really be a receiver at all in the NFL. I'm hearing word maybe he could play on the defensive side. Maybe the 49ers experiment a little bit there. Although if he does continue to play at wide receiver, he's going to have to improve his route running. He also has a little bit of an injury history as well. He's a wait-and-see guy. So he's 7th round, 240th pick overall. We'll see what happens. It's a C grade for me. I'm not going to say it's bad. I'm not going to say it's good either. So there's Street out of NC State. DJ Reed, I like the most out of these guys. Marcel Harris, safety out of Florida. And then Julian Taylor, defensive tackle there. And then you see Richie James, wide receiver out of Middle Tennessee State. That's the rundown and the recap with all these selections for the San Francisco 49ers here. They addressed the needs. To a T, may not be, but certainly attacked the areas that Tom Downey was looking at: cornerback, wide receiver, offensive tackle, safety, and linebacker. But what scares me about some of these picks here, the injury history. And that's why I'm giving the 49ers an overall grade of B-. Despite the fact that they address some of these needs here, I'm not a fan of some of these picks, including the Street selection, defensive tackle out of NC State. He's not going to be playing in 2018, so some question marks in these later picks. But, of course, I want to hear from you guys. Grade the 49ers draft. Give me a heart for A, a like for B, wow face for C, a laughing face for a D or F. What do you guys think? Edge rusher was a big-time need. The 49ers passed on Tremaine Edmonds. They got Mike McGlinchey. Hit me up in the comments section. Hit me up on Twitter as well, at Mr. Rogers99. That'll do it for this special edition of the 49ers Report. I am Cam Rogers. I'll see you next time.